of my beautiful nation and what it means to me. Not a thing out of place, that's what's special about it. And do you hear? It's the songs the birds are singing. Do you hear? It's a sound that's everlasting, and there's no end in sight. Just the beginning of our lives, sweet Grenada. This is home, yes. And do you hear? It's the songs the birds are singing. Do you hear? It's a sound that's everlasting, and there's no end in sight. Just the beginning of our lives, sweet Grenada. This is home, 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 sweet Grenada. Yeah, this is home.
Alrighty, good evening. Welcome, Grenada Carrier, Cool PD, Martinique, and the rest of the world. I'd like to officially welcome you to another Mikey Live program, people. This is where it all happens. We're talking about the good, the bad, and the Mikey. Of course, there are a lot of things that we are ready to tell you about. Without further ado, let's just take a look at what's making the headlines for tonight. JetBlue expanding Grenada flights. We're going to tell you that's going to be happening soon. So we want to tell you about that again. 16-year-old Nikisha Brathwaite is missing. Her family and friends are concerned. U.S. House passes legislation offering immigrants a pathway to citizenship. We're going to talk about that man knocked down by a vehicle in the city today. We'll give you an update on that. R. Kelly pleads not guilty to 11 new sex crime charges. Raptors, they steal the game 3-3. All right, they steal game 3 from the Golden State Warriors. Of course, Golden State played without two of their key players, Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson, who are both on the bench due to injuries. Lifeline, possible lifeline for Liat. We're going to talk about that. Would you believe a German nurse killed at least 85 patients? A nurse killed at least 85 patients. We're going to talk about that. And CARICOM passport is superior to the American passport. We'll tell you how we came up with that conclusion. Folks, we have a lot to tell you about, and so we're not going to be wasting time. Just to let you know that when you share the program, it really helps with the growth of the program, particularly those of you who are currently on Facebook. So let's go ahead and do that right now. We encourage everyone on Facebook to please share the program. Folks, when we return, it will be real news in Olelili Lolo. Grenada, we are getting ready for the Grenada Music Festival, which kicks off on Friday all the way into Sunday, and Monday's a holiday, so we may even fet on that day as well. Folks, we are coming back.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom
for me and you.
I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. What a wonderful world.
We all look forward to our retirement, enjoying our golden years with family, friends, and loved ones. The best way to secure an income during retirement is through investments, savings, and an NIS pension. Thanks to improvements in healthcare, Grenadians are living longer, healthier lives. These years also need to be covered by a pension to guarantee a comfortable life. Today you contribute 9% and retire at age 60. But as benefit expenses continue to rise, and with longer lifespans, the NIS won't be able to provide pensions and other social security benefits at this rate. To continue providing benefits, the NIS will need to increase the contribution rate from 9% to 11%, a 2% overall increase shared between you and your employer. The retirement age will gradually increase from 60 to 65 over an extended period. Let's put this into perspective. If you earn $1,500 today, your contribution is $60 and your employer pays $75. With a 2% increase shared between you and your employer, you'll now pay $75 and your employer will pay $90. That's only a $15 increase. These are the types of social security changes being made worldwide. In fact, Grenada has one of the lowest pension age and contribution rates in the region. With these small changes, you'll be able to continue enjoying all social security benefits and retire between age 60 and 65 with the guarantee of a pension from the NIS. If these adjustments aren't made now, then by 2035, the NIS will need to increase your contribution rate to 22.5%. So, what can you do? Support the incremental changes and continue with the solidarity of the Grenadian people. A little change today for a convenient, happy future.
Saturday 8th and Sunday 9 June, it's Whitsuntide Games 2019. Kirani James Athletic Stadium. See participating teams from Trinidad and Tobago, Montserrat, Antigua and Barbuda, Haiti, Nevis, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, French Guiana, Guadeloupe, France, and our very own local clubs and schools compete to be Whitsuntide Champion 2019. Game starts at 1 p.m. Admission $20. And coming to perform live at the games, it's the International Wasways and Grenada's Group Champion Dash. Saturday 8th and Sunday 9 June, Kirani James Athletic Stadium, Whitsuntide Games 2019.
The Courts Home event is finally here. Now's the time to get all you need for your home. Create your sweet retreat with our bedroom ranges. Level up the family room with high-definition TVs, entertainment systems, comfy sofas or sectionals. Enjoy more home dining with a new set. Getting into home fitness? We've got that too. And find something shiny and new for your kitchen. All at the Courts Home event, where we have it all.
The countdown is on to Grenada's most exciting music festival. Friday, 7th June is Sol EC Limited Rhythm and Soul Night with Kerry Hilson, the legendary Freddie Jackson, Eddie Bullen, and Jefferson Ramirez. Saturday, 8th June is Wester Hall Rum Reggae Fest featuring Busy Signal, Maxi Priest, Kimani Marley, Tamara St. Bernard, and more. The festival climaxes on Sunday, 9th June with a George F. Huggins Soca Fusion featuring the All-Stars with Tennyson John and Blacks, Patrice Roberts, Wasways, Jab King, and more. Gates open 7 p.m., showtime 9 p.m. Advance tickets $80 Friday and Saturday, $60 on Sunday, and are available island-wide. Limited VIP and season tickets at Grenada Optical and GoToFet.com. Grenada Music Festival 2019. Get your tickets today. Sponsors: Silver Sands Grenada, Hennessy, the Antillian Group, Coca-Cola, St. George's University, Glen Elch Springwater, and Netherlands Insurance.
Alrighty then, so we are ready and pumped. Alright guys, it's going to be good. It's going to be really good. So I hope to see you guys there. Alright, now the first thing that we want to tell all you about is the Whitsuntide game. Now the weekend as well, we'll see some good sporting action. Alright, not just entertainment but sports as well. The third edition of the revived Whitsuntide games will be held at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium. That's on Saturday 8th and Sunday 9th June. Starting time on Saturday is 12 noon, while on Sunday the games will commence at 1 p.m. Together with athletes from local clubs and schools. Over 200 athletes from the region will be competing at this regional games. Now, the teams are St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua, British Virgin Islands, St. Lucia, Dominica, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, France, Trinidad and Tobago, Montserrat, some regional clubs, and there are some other clubs, some like from Trinidad and Tobago, some from the United States, and some other clubs in general. All right, Grenada will field a national team, which will comprise most of our overseas-based athletes, including Lyndon Victor, Kurt Felix, we have Makim Felix, Josie Boateng, and a whole lot of them. All right, so folks, we're looking forward to that. All right, so the days are counting down for the start of some new flights to Grenada. JetBlue Airways, as we told you earlier, a couple of weeks ago, is expanding flights to the island of Grenada, and the announcement was made by the Grenada Tourism Authority. Now, these flights are scheduled to begin on June 11th. Now, the New York City-based carrier will be increasing its services to daily flights from John F. Kennedy Airport to Grenada. Now, the daily flights will run through to July 31st. All right. So we can look forward to these flights. All right, guys. And when you're booking, book smart. And I mean, I have to tell all you have a trick in booking. Book smart. All you. The next thing we want to tell all you about, boy, is that there's another teenager who has gone missing, and her parents are pretty worried about her. Police and the parents are seeking the assistance of the general public in locating Nikisha Brathwaite. She's only 16 years old, and she's a student of Spring St. George. Now, according to police reports, Nikisha left home on Monday, 3rd June 2019, and has failed to return home since. Now, she's approximately 5 feet 5 inches in height, slim built, and dark brown in complexion. Anyone seeing Nikisha or has any information about her whereabouts, you are asked to contact the Central Police Station at 440-2245, CID at 440-3921, Police Emergency at 911, Police Hotline at 444-1958, or the nearest police station. People, it is important that if you see her, that you at least let her family know that you have seen her, so that they can stop worrying. And if you're looking at this and you're probably somewhere, I just want to encourage you to return home, because your parents are really, really worried. Whatever it is, it can be resolved, all right? As providing that it's a runaway case. If not, well, then we hope for the best, all right? We have been having a lot of young people going missing, and more often than not, they are found, yeah? So we don't want to take those situations for granted. I find too that when they are found and so on, more should be said, in terms of what happens next, so that it can serve as a deterrent for others. You understand? So I'm not really paying any specific, I'm not speaking specifically to this case, but I'm just saying that we should, yeah. So take a look at her again, and if you know her whereabouts, if you have seen her, please assist in getting her to return home. All right, we are moving on, and the next thing that we have to tell all about is that the United States House passed legislation offering immigrants a pathway to citizenship. You understand? We learn about this today. It's called the DREAM Act. Now, the almost 2-decade-long legislative effort that was designed to put millions of young undocumented citizens from the Caribbean and so on, and other immigrants too, with temporary status on a pathway to U.S. citizenship. It has you know, it has been dangling for a while, but now things are getting a little better. Now, the Dream and Promise Act of 2019, sponsored by Caribbean American Congresswoman Yvette Clarke, the daughter of Jamaican immigrants, passed the Democratic-controlled House by a vote of 237 to 187. Now, 7 Republicans in the House of Representatives joined all 230 Democrats in voting for the legislation's passage. Now, this measure is to go before the Republican-controlled Senate. Now, since Trump assumed the presidency, he has terminated the DACA program, but U.S. courts have blocked it. Now, Clark has said that more than 180,000 Caribbean and other immigrants in the United States qualify under this legislation. So that's an important one to follow. I know some people watching the program saying, yes, but it's not automatic, and please read up more on it. All right? Don't want to say Mikey say and misquote me. Good. Earlier, a man was knocked down today, boy, in town by a vehicle. We have, and before we show you, we have this raw footage from the incident, which was sent to us. All right. Some of you may find the image to be disturbing. Please view with discretion. I mean, it is really plain to see what would have happened there. At one point, the man was walking on the sidewalk, but he somewhat walked a bit into the road while the vehicle was coming. Behind him, he was not able to see, and so he was struck by that vehicle. You see right there, he was struck by that vehicle. It would have somewhat broken his leg or dislocated his leg, as we were sent some footage just moments after the incident. He was obviously in pain, waiting for some sort of assistance by the medical professionals, all right? But he seemed to be okay in terms of he will survive, but he suffered an injury to his leg. And every day, man, we are talking more and more about these incidents. We have recorded quite a few accidents again today. There was a bike incident, or an incident on the road involving a bike in the Woodlands area today. All right? And there were some other incidents again around the island. You know, these days we're even hesitant. We are even hesitant to speak about these incidents because they are seeming to be more than they should. I mean, just wondering what is really going on, man. People are left wondering what is responsible for all these crashes. Is it that it is now somebody called on the radio and said obtaining a driver's license has become so much easier than it was before? But you see, we cannot be spitting out all these sort of comments. We need to see the data. And I think the police should publish the data in terms of who are meeting in these accidents. What are the common things we are seeing? Is it that we are seeing younger drivers? Is it that we are seeing drivers who are driving automatic vehicles versus manual vehicles? Are these drivers with automatic license versus manual licenses? Are there more men involved in accidents than women? You know, so we need to see the data, yes, so that we can come to some sort of understanding, so that we can properly address these incidents. Anything other than that, we spin it up in mud. We are moving on. We were telling you yesterday about Wayne Molasses, and we want to tell you about that again. All right, my brethren, check me by the studio today. You understand? And when he was telling me about the molasses, I realized that I did have a bottle myself, and it really works. It's pure molasses. It's good for low blood, also weak blood, low hemoglobin, however you want to call it. If you're iron low, if you are anemic, if you feel some of a weakness or dizziness, try the molasses. It will re-energize you and build your immune system. Just 2 teaspoons daily. And this product is available at supermarkets and shops island-wide. That's right, supermarkets and shops island-wide. We are moving on. Now, I was looking at an article today, right, that spoke about the Grenada passport versus an American passport in the region. And when somebody have a American passport or dual citizenship, in other words, they want to come in Grenada and flash the American passport, Trinidad and flash the Trinidad passport. We are learning now that based on a recent Caribbean Court of Justice ruling, it is now showing the fact that a passport issued by any of the 15 member states of CARICOM is considered superior to that of the US as a travel document within this region. So when you feel you're coming Grenada and you're flashing because you're both Grenadian and American and come and play, this recent ruling, the David Bain ruling, and I come into it, has set a precedent and proves that this passport issued by your individual islands or countries within the region is more superior than the ones with, I don't even know who face on it. Yeah, face on the American. I don't even know what they're on it. Never see one. I don't think I see one. Yeah, call as green and blue and thing, but okay. Anyway, this usual state of affairs in which passports of tiny third world or developing countries carry a higher ranking than that of the powerful United States was made clear when a Grenadian national, who is also an American citizen, opted to use his US passport to enter into Trinidad and Tobago instead of the documents from the land of his birth, and he was rejected. Please be guided accordingly. Contending that he had been denied his right to free movement as a CARICOM citizen, the Grenadian, David Bain, took the matter to the courts, to the CCJ. But what happened? This court, which holds the final jurisdiction over matters of all CARICOM agreements, ruled that the onus lies upon an intending entrant into the CARICOM member state to establish that he or she is a national of such a state with the right to freedom of movement. So again, within the CARICOM states. In dismissing the claim on May 29th, the CCJ indicated that it also relied on submissions from the CARICOM, which stated that the appropriate travel document to invoke the right of freedom of movement is a CARICOM passport or a passport issued by a CARICOM member state. Now, the CCJ concluded that all the documents that Bain presented did not conclusively establish his Grenadian nationality. Prove that you are a Grenadian, you could enter into the country. Flash an American passport, you eat grass. Talk done. Because we are accustomed talking about how we treat or perceive our own countries as being secondary to the bigger world. But here, you see that all your passport have weight. You understand? And start acting the part. Alright? Very interesting. Very interesting. How are we looking for time? Alright, audio. We are moving on. Quite a few things to tell you about tonight, boy. The next thing that we have to tell all you, West Indies. Now I ain't talking about what you telling me about talk about West Indies. Me ain't talking about West Indies. So I didn't know West Indies was going to lose. Yeah, the day started nice. We play a mass. But then eventually, you know what we're going to get with us? Get glad. Yeah, so we ain't talking about West Indies right now. I want to talk about R. Kelly. Because all of us grew up to his music. This whole thing with R. Kelly ain't going away anytime soon. Alright? Now, I think it was earlier on in this week or late last week we told you that he had received 11 new sex crime charges. Well, Papayo, Mr. Man pleaded not guilty on Thursday in a Chicago courtroom to 11 new felony sex crime charges. Now, the charges were a refiling of one of the 4 cases of alleged abuse that prosecutors lodged against the singer earlier this year. Now, the grand jury last week increased the felony counts against the 52-year-old and upgraded some of the charges. He now faces 5 felony counts of aggravated criminal sexual assault. Now, here's what. If convicted of the most serious charges, Kelly would face mandatory sentences of 6 to 30 years in prison on each count. Now, Kelly, through his lawyer, pleaded not guilty during a short arraignment hearing. His next court date is set for June 26, 2019. People, the man continues to show or to attempt to prove his innocence with the whole business. You know what I mean? Let's see how go on. R. Kelly had 9 lives because since this whole thing been coming up against him, nobody has been successful in putting him behind bars. But now prosecutors believe that they have the case that will nail him to the cross of Chicago. Oh boy. Last night it was an interesting encounter between the Raptors and the Golden State Warriors. In Game 3, Golden State Warriors played and played and played, but their good was not good enough to defeat the Raptors. Golden State Warriors played without their star players, Klay Thompson and Kevin Durant. Steph Curry tried his best, but it ain't a one-man game. Raptors, on the other hand, proved that they have what it takes to become NBA champions 2019. You know, they play hard and the cookie goes to the winning team. You know what I mean? And so they were able to come out victorious. And that was an away game, by the way, for them, and they still won. Danny Green. Remember Danny Green 3-4 years ago? I think he was playing for the Spurs at the time. Was it Spurs at the time? Danny Green played like a boss. Curry met his match last night. You know what I mean? So let's see what's going on tomorrow, all right? I'm willing to bet that should the Golden State have back Klay Thompson, that they will win the game by about 15 points. Anybody who's willing to bet has some money to spend. You know what I mean? Let's do this. We are moving on. We have been joined by some new people on the program. I want to say thank you for joining us on the program. If it's your first time, well, yeah, of course, if you know your first time, you must come back. We don't give away free thing on the program too. Those of you who are looking at us on cable and thing, we want to say thank you for doing so. Of course, we don't have free thing on the program. You too qualify for them bids, something like that. You know what I mean? So, folks, we have quite a few things to tell you about. All right, a German nurse. He killed at least 85 patients. Now he has been jailed for life. A 42-year-old, you know. You know what I mean? But we gonna tell all you about that just now. You know what I mean? The whole talk about Obia. A pastor is rejecting attempts to legalize Obia. Says, oh, you can't go and do that. Lifeline for Liat. We're gonna be talking about that. We have more things to tell all you about, but let's take a little break now, man. You know what I mean? Drink some water, go in the kitchen. You know what I mean? And when we come back, more news in all the little Lolo.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for
for me and you.
I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. What a wonderful world.
Experience convenient and affordable learning with online and blended higher education programs from the UWI Open Campus. Access our quality-assured degrees, diplomas, and continuing and professional education programs at a pace designed to suit your lifestyle. Ask about our prior learning assessment, which credits previous learning experience and fast-tracks the completion of your degree. Own your future. Apply today. For more information, visit www.open.uwi.edu. The UWI Open Campus, opening doors to life-changing learning.
And so it begins, a journey like no other. Jungles so lush, they make emeralds jealous. Water that sparkles like diamonds. Mountains with more facets than precious gems. This is where good times are had, where love is strengthened, where memories are formed. And when it all comes to an end, bring home something that will never fade. Colombian Emeralds International. Bring home more than a memory.
The Courts Home event is finally here. Now is the time to get all you need for your home. Create your sweet retreat with our bedroom ranges. Level up the family room with high-definition TVs, entertainment systems, comfy sofas or sectionals. Enjoy more home dining with a new set. Getting into home fitness? We've got that too. And find something shiny and new for your kitchen. All at the Courts Home event, where we have it all.
The countdown is on to Grenada's most exciting music festival. Friday, 7th June is Sol EC Limited Rhythm and Soul Night with Carrie Hilson, the legendary Freddie Jackson, Eddie Bullen, and Jefferson Ramirez. Saturday, 8th June is Wester Hall Rum Reggae Fest featuring Busy Signal, Maxi Priest, Kimani Marley, Tamara St. Bernard, and more. The festival climaxes on Sunday, 9th June with a George F. Huggins Soca Fusion featuring the All-Stars with Tennyson John and Blacks, Patrice Roberts, Wes Ways, Jab King, and more. Gates open 7 p.m., showtime 9 p.m. Advance tickets $80 Friday and Saturday, $60 on Sunday, and are available island-wide. Limited VIP and season tickets at Grenada Optical and GoToFet.com. Grenada Music Festival 2019. Get your tickets today. Sponsors: Silver Sands Grenada, Hennessy, the Antillian Group, Coca-Cola, St. George's University, Glen Elch Springwater, and Netherlands Insurance.
We all look forward to our retirement, enjoying our golden years with family, friends, and loved ones. The best way to secure an income during retirement is through investments, savings, and an NIS pension. Thanks to improvements in healthcare, Grenadians are living longer, healthier lives. These years also need to be covered by a pension to guarantee a comfortable life. Today you contribute 9% and retire at age 60. But as benefit expenses continue to rise, and with longer lifespans, the NIS won't be able to provide pensions and other social security benefits at this rate. To continue providing benefits, the NIS will need to increase the contribution rate from 9% to 11%, a 2% overall increase shared between you and your employer. The retirement age will gradually increase from 60 to 65 over an extended period. Let's put this into perspective. If you earn $1,500 today, your contribution is $60 and your employer pays $75. With a 2% increase shared between you and your employer, you'll now pay $75 and your employer will pay $90. That's only a $15 increase, These are the types of social security changes being made worldwide. In fact, Grenada has one of the lowest pension age and contribution rate in the region. With these small changes, you'll be able to continue enjoying all social security benefits and retire between age 60 and 65 with the guarantee of a pension from the NIS. If these adjustments aren't made now, then by 2035, the NIS will need to increase your contribution rate to 22.5%. So, what can you do? Support the incremental changes and continue with the solidarity of the Grenadian people. A little change today for a convenient, happy future.
All right, guys, welcome back to the program. And so the next story that we have to tell you about, boy, this one is going to break your heart, all right? This guy has killed so many persons just for the heck of it, just for fun. A German serial killer nurse, they call him, eh? Now, he was jailed for life on Thursday for the murder of 85 patients in his care. Now, and that's according to a statement from a court. Now, Niels Hogel is a 42-year-old former nurse who is considered Germany's deadliest post-war serial killer. Now, he was sentenced to life in prison. Now, while summing up the trial, the judge said that Hogel's actions were incomprehensible. That's the word that characterizes this. You know? Now, the health worker had previously confessed to killing 100 patients. And those ages were between 34 and 96 years old at 2 hospitals in northern Germany between 2000 and 2005. However, he was acquitted of 15 cases on Thursday because there was not enough evidence. Hogel is being accused of giving his victims various non-prescribed drugs in an attempt to show off his resuscitation skills to colleagues and fight off boredom. So he wanted to show off to colleagues and to fight off boredom because he was bored. And so that is why he did what he did, according to the court. Now, in past hearings, he said he felt euphoric when he managed to bring back a patient to life and devastated when he failed. Now, police suspect the death toll may be as high as 200, but can't be certain as many patients were cremated before autopsies could have been performed. Now, the former nurse is already serving a life sentence for 6 convictions, including homicide and attempted homicide in 2008 and 2015. Those convictions led authorities to investigate hundreds of deaths and exhumed the bodies of former patients in the clinic where he once worked. Would you imagine this man asked his victims' families for forgiveness for his horrible acts? He said, "I would like to sincerely apologize for everything that I did to you over the course of the years." What is that? Now, one of the biggest questions in the case is, how was he able to murder so many people apparently under the watch of hospital staff? That's what they wanted to know. How could you kill so many people under the watch of hospital? They should bring in all of them down to the cleaner and all. You gotta bring him. You gotta bring them in. Jail all of them who were aware and said nothing. You know, they may be shoo in the coffee shop and say, you know, you kill another one again, but that by the way easy, you know. You know, a little coffee talk, coffee table talk. Jail all of them. Now here's this again, Former colleagues at the clinic where he once worked admitted to having had their suspicions about him. Huh? And in another area where he worked, some of his colleagues and staff and said they were obvious to the rising death toll. All right, I mean, I don't know. And the man go and say he's saying sorry, and I want you looking like if you are, like, you know, he's being remorseful. Anyway, the next thing that we have to tell all about, boy, is the whole, boy, come to me, thing now, man. I don't know, start by me think like if you're looking good. A pastor is rejecting attempts to legalize obia. This pastor is currently located in St. Lucia, but because he has Jamaican roots, is speaking about this whole new discussion.
Jamaican senior pastor of the Castries Church of Nazarene, Richard Spencer, says the legalization of obia practice will bring disgrace and curse upon a country. The topic has been the subject of heated debate ever since the announcement of a justice minister hinting at the possibility of the ritual becoming legal in Jamaica. The practice has been illegal under Jamaican law for some 121 years, with a maximum fine of $100 million for anyone found guilty.
If that is on the law books, then it should be punishable if people are caught practicing obia. It is really an abomination, and it brings disgrace and curse upon the land, and it should really be punished by law.
According to etymology.com, the word obia is defined as sorcery and witchcraft among blacks in Africa and the West Indies. Other research suggests that obia thrived during the era of slavery and is part of Caribbean culture. However, Pastor Spencer disagrees.
Obia has never been inherent in us because God created us in His image. And that is original. We were created in God's image, and that's how we should attain to be. God is a pure God, and God has nothing to do with impurity. And obia is impurity. It's an unclean spirit. When somebody conceptualizes something that defiles their mind and their spirit and their body and defiles the land, surely that is an atrocious abomination. We should stay away from that.
In St. Lucia, obia may often be associated with witchcraft. The senior pastor believes that the obia practice should be banned in all nations.
As a pastor, I have to speak and reflect the opinion of the Bible. And obia witchcraft is a no-no in God's book. It is an abomination. And so it should remain illegal here in this country. And obia should be illegal in every country.
The Jamaican Justice Minister plans to resubmit the proposal to Cabinet to have the 1898 Obia Act repealed. However, Jamaican church leaders are against the move, while those who practice obia see it as a way to help others. Gino Filippi, HTS News Force.
But and they say like sometimes like obia does backfire on you, and then sometimes you get mad. I don't know, that's what I hear people saying. I don't know. Ah, boy. Anyway, what a life. Okay, the other thing that we want to tell all of you about, boys, Liat. The regional airline Liat is making progress, they say, in its efforts to stabilize its operation. You know, it has been in a financial bind over the past 6 months. This prompted Liat to make a special appeal to Caribbean governments for financial assistance. Some of the Caribbean governments have jumped on board and say, yes, we on. One of the biggest shareholders, Barbados, who I think own somewhere within the vicinity of 49% of the shares, says, you know what? It's time for I'm not ready for you yet. Take your time with me. It's time for us to give someone else a chance.
There's light at the end of the tunnel for Liat. The airline, which has been facing a cash flow crisis, is reporting that to date it has raised 33% of the targeted funds of $5 million needed to get itself out of this sticky situation. That's according to the airline's Chief Executive Officer, Reefer Jones.
If the territories are unwilling to support those flights, then we would make some adjustments to our flight schedule, which could result, we are hoping not, could result in some reduction in flight.
Despite making a recent contribution of $1 million to Liat's crisis fund, Barbados, the airline's largest shareholder government with 49.5% of the airline's shares, has decided to reduce its interest in Liat. Antigua and Barbuda's buyout of some of Barbados's interest in Liat is said to be at an advanced stage. The Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Mottley, says her government cannot continue to support Liat in the way it has done in the past. She says Liat's business model is flawed.
Therefore, sir, notwithstanding our absolute commitment to regional air travel, and notwithstanding the fact, sir, and given in fact, the fact that the studies have recommended a different model and restructuring for Liat, and given the inability of the government of Barbados to do for Liat in the next 5 to 10 years what the government of Barbados did for Liat in the last 5 to 10 years, when we moved significantly to assume major shareholder responsibilities, we have taken the determination and decision as a cabinet that it is time for us to step back, while at the same time allowing other governments to continue with their proposal to want to restructure Liat in the way in which they have determined.
Most of the Caribbean nations have injected funds into Liat in their responses to the airline's call for urgent assistance. St. Lucia's Prime Minister Alan Chasney has refused to contribute under the current arrangements, a point not lost upon Liat's Chief Executive Officer.
The most fundamental issue is that St. Lucia and all the territories are receiving a service. St. Lucia is not contributing to the service that they are receiving. That issue needs to be addressed. Right. Having said that, there is room for improvement in Liat, whether management or otherwise, and this management team is committed to that improvement.
The required changes to place Liat on a sustainable footing may involve the reduction in the number of flights on some of its less profitable routes. However, regional commentators say some fundamental changes will have to be undertaken if Liat is to have a long-term future. Stanley Lucian for the HTS News Force.
Thank you very much, Stanley. And of course, we take a quick break, and when we come back, what we have for you is the National Report.
The countdown is on to Grenada's most exciting music festival. Friday, 7th June is Sol EC Limited Rhythm and Soul Night with Carrie Hilson, the legendary Freddie Jackson, Eddie Bullen, and Jefferson Ramirez. Saturday, 8th June is Wester Hall Rum Reggae Fest featuring Busy Signal, Maxi Priest, Kimani Marley, Tamara St. Bernard, and more. The festival climaxes on Sunday, 9th June with a George F. Huggins Soca Fusion featuring the All-Stars with Tennyson John and Blacks, Patrice Roberts, Wes Ways, Jab King, and more. Gates open 7 p.m., showtime 9 p.m. Advance tickets $80 Friday and Saturday, $60 on Sunday, and are available island-wide. Limited VIP and season tickets at Grenada Optical and GoToFet.com. Grenada Music Festival 2019. Get your tickets today. Sponsors: Silver Sands Grenada, Hennessy, the Antillian Group, Coca-Cola, St. George's University, Glen Elch Springwater, and Netherlands Insurance.
Alrighty, thank you very much. And now, folks, it is time for the National Report.
Commissioner of Police calls for private sector support for RGPF's plans to ensure safety and security during the hurricane season. Details to the story and more when we return. With the details to the news for today, Thursday, June 6th, I am Rikisha St. Louis. The RGPF's Chief Cop, Edwin Martin, says stakeholder collaboration is of critical importance in times of disaster. The statement was made during his presentation at the government's weekly post-cabinet briefing on Tuesday. Commissioner of Police Martin made a clarion call for support from the private sector to strengthen plans the RGPF has put in place for execution during the 2019 Atlantic hurricane season, should the country be impacted by a system.
We also seek stakeholder collaboration with persons who own heavy equipment to assist us with clearing roads that are critical to security, redeployment of personnel, as well as access to hospitals and other critical institutions.
Commissioner Martin says the dialogue continues to ensure the adequate number of heavy equipment needed is secured.
We have 2 persons on board at the moment. We need a minimum of 4. And what we try to do is to have a commitment that they will remain with us. So we do need some assistance there. In some areas of the 2, one is a Bobcat, and I don't know if the Bobcat would be able to do all the push work that will be required. So we're trying to work through with the Ministry of Works that they may leverage their relationships to provide us with front-end loaders, because they have collaboration with persons in all of the districts. So when we collaborate with them, what happens in St. George's happens on the west, happens in Carriacou, happens on the east as well. So that's what we're trying to do.
Also outlined in the RGPF's plan is a clear approach to ensure that adequate checkpoints are established on all routes leading into or near towns, as well as static locations within the towns.
The intention here is to prevent our towns from being flooded with individuals in the aftermath where businesses may be compromised, to ensure that the security and integrity of businesses and places are well protected. Additionally, from within, we have static locations deployed to make sure that security problems do not erupt from within the towns themselves.
The RGPF, he says, is working along closely with the National Disaster Management Agency, NADMA, to ensure that all plans are properly executed in the unlikely event that a weather system impacts Grenada. The Grenada National Training Agency, GNTA, is in preparation mode for its first World Skills Competition, scheduled for June 18th and 19th at the T. Marisho Community College. The World Skills Competition aims to showcase the best local technical competencies among Grenadians between the ages of 17 and 25. Marketing and Communications Officer K. Julian Gutu says government is interested in the initiative that the GNTA has developed for Grenada, and the competition will also help with the development of the country's skill sets.
We in Grenada have some objectives that we want to put forward for the competition. So the competition has like 3 components, objectives for us: educational development, economic development, and marketing. So the educational component, we are hoping that the competition will help to streamline collaboration between industry. This is not a competition that the NTA is putting on alone. We are here because government is very much involved in it. The Minister of Skills, as you know, there's a Minister of Skills Development, Honorable Pamela Moses, and she's based in Ministry of Education. So Ministry of Education is fully behind that. They are our major financial supporter for this event. So they are the major financial sponsor. And so we are working with educational institutions, the government, and industry to put this on. So we are also engaging with private sector partners to exhibit, to put on, to be sponsors, etc.
The areas of focus for the competition include cooking, beauty, fashion design, and graphic design technology. Getting the participants to be involved locally will be a driving force for them to be represented internationally.
This year's participants most likely will not go because this is like our first time doing this. Most time they will not likely to go to World Skills Americas. But we will run the competition again next year, and we will be preparing. So this is like a pilot this year. And next year we will run the competition exactly as how it should be for the World Skills Americas, and then we will send those participants, the winners, to World Skills Americas to compete against.
This is the National Report. We'll have more news after the break.
The countdown is on to Grenada's most exciting music festival. Friday, 7th June is Sol EC Limited Rhythm and Soul Night with Carrie Hilson, the legendary Freddie Jackson, Eddie Bullen, and Jefferson Ramirez. Saturday, 8th June is Wester Hall Rum Reggae Fest featuring Busy Signal, Maxi Priest, Kimani Marley, Tamara St. Bernard, and more. The festival climaxes on Sunday, 9th June with a George F. Huggins Soca Fusion featuring the All-Stars with Tennyson John and Blacks, Patrice Roberts, Westways, Jab King, and more. Gates open 7 p.m., showtime 9 p.m. Advance tickets $80 Friday and Saturday, $60 on Sunday, and are available island-wide. Limited VIP and season tickets at Grenada Optical and GoToFet.com. Grenada Music Festival 2019. Get your tickets today. Sponsors: Silver Sands Grenada, Hennessy, the Antillian Group, Coca-Cola, St. George's University, Glen Elch Springwater, and Netherlands Insurance.
Welcome back. Acting Prime Minister Honorable Gregory Bowen received a courtesy call Wednesday from United States Ambassador Linda Tagliatella and other top officials. The areas of discussion included the upcoming visit by the U.S. naval ship Comfort and Grenada's preparedness for the 2019 Atlantic hurricane season, among other areas. The naval ship is expected to visit Grenada for a week in September, providing general medical, dental, and eye care for Grenadians. Principal Officer at the U.S. Embassy in Grenada, Mr. Stephen Fram, who departs Grenada this week, was among the officials present for the courtesy call. Minister Bowen thanked Mr. Fram on behalf of the government and people of Grenada for his 3.5 years of service and wished him the very best on his next posting. Mr. Fram's successor is expected to take up duty in September, but the U.S. officials have given the assurance that the embassy will continue to provide regular services in the interim. The Grenada National Council of the Disabled has donated equipment to NADMA to assist the physically challenged. The presentation of 2 wheelchairs, 6 paddle walkers, and 6 cushions was made on Wednesday to ensure that shelters are easily accessible for those with physical challenges. There are currently 110 emergency shelters in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. Hilary Gabriel from the Council of the Disabled spoke on the donation to NADMA.
This presentation this morning stemmed from a project with the CCDRMF fund where funds was allocated to make sure that we have shelters made accessible for persons with disabilities and the elderly in the event of a disaster. And happy am I this morning to say that together with NADMA, we did what we were supposed to do. And we are proud to say that Dover Government School in Carriacou, and I'm happy that it's in Carriacou, is the first one to be fitted or equipped with wheelchair, accessible bathroom and toilets, rollators, toilet seats, and it is really accessible for persons with disabilities and the elderly.
Acting Disaster Coordinator Sylvan McIntyre expressed his sincere appreciation to the Grenada Council of the Disabled for the timely donation of the equipment.
We are really grateful for this generous donation for equipment that will assist our persons living with disabilities and the elderly who are likely to have access to the facilities that are created for them. It's an expansion of the enhancement of those facilities through the kind compliments of the Caribbean Canada Disaster Risk Management Fund, the CCDRMF. We are grateful for the upgrade of 14 of our facilities. As Ms. Gabriel mentioned, some of them have been enhanced with rail, bathroom and toilet facilities, and now to outfit them with this is just something that we are really, really grateful for.
That story just ended the national report for today, Thursday, June 6th. Let's recap the top story. Commissioner of Police calls for private sector support for RGPF's plans to ensure safety and security during the hurricane season.
Thank you very much. And speaking of the hurricane season, let's get to the weather. We see that it's just about 28 degrees Celsius right here in St. George's, and wind 27 kilometers per hour, humidity 80%, precipitation 0%. The minimum temperature is seeming to be just around 27 degrees Celsius, folks. And that's it for the weather report. And of course, we want to thank everyone for viewing Mikey Live tonight. Of course, we want to let you know how much we do appreciate you being on the program all the time, and we look forward to an interesting program tomorrow. Kind of iffy, and I don't want to say nothing yet. Tomorrow kind of iffy. Anyway, let's say hello to Veronica, Khadija Smart, Noreen, Danica. Why is your story showing? Esther, Osrika, Min, how are you? Javid, Monica, Noreen, and Glenda, and Mom, and Akili, Charmaine, and everyone else on the program. Caroline Edwards. Caroline, I have to come by tomorrow, seriously. If you don't hear from me, please give me a call or something, all right, Caroline? We have to see tomorrow because, we have to organize that stuff, all right? Irma, Trevelin, and Ezwan, everyone, thank you for watching. Let's go. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we say, Ja! No. Good night, everyone, and those of you who are viewing via WPG10, thank you for so doing. Good night to you. We touch base again on the next Mikey Live program, all right? Take care of yourselves, guys, and your family. Goodbye.